This Warlock solo PvE support build is fantastic for endgame activities in Destiny 2 Season of the Splicer. You'll be able to get your super back in seconds in most activities and within about 20 seconds in harder ones. You'll be healing teammates often, get overshields when reviving them, whilst being able to deal insane damage against bosses and champions with your team and a lot more. We will be pairing this build with a Divinity as we are a support build, but I will give you guys multiple options in case you don't have it or don't want to use it. This is your updated Season 14 Warlock support build, and while we're at it, why not show us your support by leaving a rating, comment, sub and share, because now we're about to start. In light activities, you will be getting your super back fairly fast with this setup as long as there's a load of ads to kill. Now you could speed this up by using an energy converter, but for this build it's really not needed, and you don't want to spam your super too much because it's really not necessary either. But this build will provide a lot of support for your allies in the end game activities, whether that's raids, dungeons, nightfalls or Grandmaster nightfalls. Then this build will do the trick. Now as always, before we start I will mention that I do these videos every week, so if you like them and want to see more, playlist below. Otherwise, let's move on. So starting with the loadout, you want something that will generate super or ability energy. For harder activities, I'd recommend using weapons with a Wellspring perk, but for lighter activities, go with a bad juju. Pair your Wellspring weapon with a Divinity to debuff enemies only if there are overloads in Season 14. Otherwise, you want to use an Anarchy or any grenade launcher with a breach and clear mod. But your optimized loadout for Master and Grandmaster Nightfalls would be a kinetic sniper for helping with DPS, an energy anti-barrier primary weapon with a Wellspring perk to generate energy, and an Anarchy to debuff enemies in Season 14 with the breach and clear mod and for DPS. For the subclass, we are a middle tree solar Dawnblade Well of Radiance, which gives you a 30% damage buff. That stacks with debuffs like a breach and clear mod or tether, but this comes with guiding flame to empower you and allies when you melee an ad, which also burns them, and your abilities will regen quicker if allies are standing in your rifts. On top of this though, you can charge your grenade and throw it for allies to pick up, or yourself, which will give them or you an overshield, whoever picks that up, and if everyone is nearby, all of you will get that overshield as well. This is probably by far my favourite ability for the Warlock overall because it really just saves you and your team in those sticky situations, but throwing a solo grenade and healing rift with this because they're just OP for everything. The exotic armor we're using here is Phoenix Protocol, which is by far one of the best Warlock exotics in the game and always has been since Forsaken launched back in year 2. But for your helmet mods, we are running Powerful Friend so that your allies will become Charger Light when we do, which is what you really want because you want to throw everything you got at your allies to help them. And if they are running crazy Charger Light builds, then this is really going to make them OP a lot more often than they expect. With this mod though, put on a hands-on for extra super energy on melee kills as it is required for our plus 20 mobility, and then your heavy weapons ammo finder mod. For the gauntlets, we are using Kindling the Flame. This is actually the first time I've used this, but this will heal you with an overshield when you revive an ally, and again this does help a lot more than you think. But with this, throw on your champion mods, which you will have enough to slot on any of them that you need, and if you're using Divinity, swap out your Unstoppable for a Trace Rifle loader because Divinity will stop overload, so you just need an anti-barrier mod only. For your chest, we're using a Phoenix Protocol, and this will give you super energy on kills and assists inside your own well when it's down, and you'll get around 80% of it back as a maximum, which in endgame activities you will get that 80% back, most likely guaranteed. Then you just need to top that off with the last 20% using weapons like a bad juju in easier places or weapons with a fresh perk. With this though, our mod is Radiant Light so that allies become Charger Light when we cast our super, which is also what you really want because if they have DPS mods on that require Charger Light, then this will really benefit the entire team when you see them just melting bosses because of their Charge of Light mods or whatever they may be using. And you definitely want that when you've got your super out to max everything out when it comes to the final boss DPS. In the chest, you also want double ammo reserve mods for your heavy weapon though. Now for the legs, we're running Taking Charge to become Charger Light on all pickups and our ammo scavenger mod. And lastly for the class, we're using Shield Break Charge to become Charger Light when breaking matched shields. And we don't really need to become Charger Light much ourselves, which is why we're using these two, but picking up orbs should be enough, so you don't really need to use this if you don't want to. And with this though, you will be using Breach and Clear for your heavy grenade launcher to weaken enemies for extra DPS if you're not using Divinity. If you're using Divinity, don't use this because it doesn't stack. Then for your stats, Discipline is what you really want to max out, so you can throw more healing grenades to help your team, and then Recovery as your secondary stat. So this build, an instant 10 out of 10 for how good it is for all activities. If you're struggling with Master Nightfalls, then this will really help you out. But make sure when it comes to placing down that super that you use it when there's a lot of ads, so that you can get it straight back afterwards, or use it when you think you can just melt bosses in one phase. Otherwise, don't waste it, because you may just screw your entire team over. The worst thing you can do is place down a well and instantly die, because then you will not get that well back for quite some time. But guys, that is your updated Season 14 Warlock's World Radiance PvE build in 2021. If you liked this one, then you may like some other builds, which is what you should do next. Go check out that playlist. You might just find your new favourite build. But for now, comment your top build for the Warlock solo subclass below, leave a rating, subscribe and share for more, and I'll see you guys on the weekend as always for the next one.